It's okay to shave your head. It is okay to cut your hair and try out the bald look. The hair grows back. What is up? Welcome to Cutting Up. I am your host Mac, and I want to thank you for checking out this content. And this video is going to be a little different from my usual content. Today we're not going to be doing any review of any new product, and I'm not going to be really doing a tutorial. This is more of just going to be, I hate using this phrase because obviously they have the, get ready with me and those makeup tutorials. This is gonna be a shave with me, but I'm going to discuss something important. After speaking with a couple of people, realize that A, I haven't shared with you, and B, might be helpful for other people that might find themselves in a similar place to where I found myself a couple of years back, which is making a decision on whether or not it is time to join the ball game, to shave your head or not. This can come in your life for many different reasons. Unfortunately, we already know that there are people that for health reasons, whether it is for something as serious as chemo, my heart goes out to those who that is something they have to deal with, whether it is the different types of alopecia or different types of male pattern baldness or different hair losses and thinnings that happen. I just realized that it was time that I told you a little bit about why I made my decision and give a little bit of guidance just for somebody who ultimately got to make their own decision on whether or not they want to join the ball game and start shaving their head themselves, or if they want to go a different route with their hair loss, one way or the other. Now, there are also people that are joining the military and think that's going to be necessary. Trust me, they will cut your hair for you whether you like it or not. Trust me, I've been there as well. Plain and straight, it's just something that I need to say to the camera that I felt I needed to hear, which is it's okay to shave your head. It is okay to cut your hair and try out the bald look. If your hair is thinning, cutting your hair or shaving your head into a baldy is not gonna stop your hair growth. There's no hair growth that is going to happen that is gonna be stunted by joining the ball game, by cutting your hair. If this message reaches you at the right time, hopefully it does, there is nothing wrong with shaving your head, trying it out. If you don't like it, if the hair is gonna grow back, it's gonna grow back. Trust me, I have the annoyance of every 3 to 5 days, the hair grows back. And where it's gonna grow back is where it's always gonna grow back. I haven't lost more hair from shaving my hair. It's just, I get the chance for it to look better, in my opinion, than holding on to it. I've done all of the things that people talk about. First, initially, when I left the military, I served in the Marine Corps. I came back and I said, you know what? I went to the military and I've never had my hair long. I had seen my father had a bald spot in the back. My grandfather had a bald spot in the back, his father. And I was like, before I join them with balding, I want to make sure that I get all the different hairstyles out of my system. So I grew out my hair long, and around 25, 26, which is relatively early in my opinion, I noticed as I kept going and getting my hair braided, and there's people that are gonna tell you that also helped to damage my hair. I wasn't the best about hair management. I only cared about what it looked like, so I got all the styles and designs. And then sometimes I just wear it out, and I kind of did the LeBron James with like a hairband, and I got known for that. But around 26, I noticed that my hairdresser started to say, hey, you have a little area here, that hair is a little thinner than other places, and she started to do styles like braiding across it and stuff like that. And then it was finally one time when I took my hair out, I kind of felt back there and I could feel like, whoa, no, there's a significant difference between hair and like hair. And I got tired of the maintenance with my hair, and I decided, what, I'm gonna cut my hair low. If I want to grow it back, it'll grow back. So I cut it low, and I noticed when I cut it low, hiding under all that hair was these spots right here were thinning, and here. Now over time, hair has thinned out a little bit, but I'm going to say this again. Shaving your head is not going to thin your hair. And I wasn't always gung-ho about the bald-headed thing as well. I've heard like you can't be fat and have a bald head, and I've heard all kinds of stuff. Oh, I might have a funny shaped head, and some people unfortunately have like, you know, the rolls in the back of the head here, wrinkles, or just an odd shaped head. By the time you reach the point where you're wearing your hair in a buzz cut, you pretty much know how your head looks. Again, I went through all of that, but I've seen people try to like kind of hide this with the distraction of like glasses that they just wear on the top of their head, or like the hats, hiding their head with hats. I still do that to this day. If I gotta go on the road right now before I get to cut my baldy, I'll throw on a hat, you know, because this is not the look that I want to present. And to be honest, nothing is easier than just balling it off. You don't have to worry about maintenance for it as much. Obviously you are shaving your head, but what I mean is you're not worried about as much product, barber's fees. I'm not worried about the insecurity of how it looks. Is the comb over trick working? That doesn't really necessarily work with people with more ethnic hair in the first place, but all the distractions, the glasses, the hats, the hoodies sitting on the top of your head and you're trying to keep your hoodie on all the time. Once you rock the baldy, yeah, you can still do those things, you know, the beanies, all of those things, but ultimately you just free yourself of that. Now, do 90% of the guys that bald off their head start overcompensating with the upside down hair, as they refer to it, growing out the beard? Absolutely. But I am blessed to have a full beard, and I know there's gonna be somebody that has a unique struggle of they can't grow facial hair, or they grow patchy beards on top of the bald head. So that's an added thing. But I went through all the struggles of insecurity. I had to keep cutting my hair every 3 days, and I realized quickly, like, I can't go to the barber every 3 days, and I don't want friends to be like, yo, your hair thinning, and everybody comment on it, because they had known me for the long hair. Also, coming from Jamaica, not that Jamaica is the only place that does this, but I went through the whole melanated, people will know what I mean by this, good hair thing. I was blessed with a different hair texture than people are used to seeing on black people, like a bigger curl pattern. So a lot of people thought I was mixed with Indian, or I would always get people assuming I was Dominican or something like that. And as much as that kind of was an annoyance, because I'm not, you know, I'm Jamaican, I'm not mixed with anything, without going 4 or 5 descendants back to find, you know, some distant white ancestor or something like that. I'm black mixed with black. It was this whole thing, even though I was annoyed by that, that became part of my identity, you know. Oh, I have good hair, I have the kind of hair that girls like to play in, and it gives me an interesting, different look. So once I had to deal with losing that thing that I identified physically as how I looked, you know, it made me insecure. So I went through all the different routes. I considered doing some kind of hair restoration. I will say I didn't think about the whole hair transplant. I think I had seen too many bad hair plugs, and I didn't want to go as far as surgery, but I started researching the whole Rogaine and Bosley and all the name brand ones, as well as some of the off-brand ones, or the ones you wouldn't have heard of so readily. There's tons of those things, and I still to this day think, you know, if they came up with some kind of natural thing there, would I just give up the bald game and use some kind of natural, you know, Haitian castor oil mixed with this and that? I wouldn't say struggle. I still grapple with the idea of it, because I'm always like, well, I do like my baldy, but like, I would love to choose to do that and sometimes choose to grow out my hair as well. My wife happens to find the bald head very attractive, and that's the main person I'm trying to impress. You know, you feel good when you feel like you look good. But yeah, obviously I still grapple with the idea of hair restoration. To show you that I still wrestle with this stuff, I have a derma roller. I, from time to time, remember to use it. By the way, anything you see me use in any of my videos, if you want to check out the links, I try to keep them relevant to the videos. But I have a derma roller. I try to use it. You know, I try to ever so often look on different places, and there'll be, oh, I mix this with aloe, and if it's a natural remedy, I'll try it out. I'll try it in my beard, because why not grow a little bit more glorious beard, or try it on the hair and see if anything grows back. But if it doesn't grow back, I just shave it back to zero. But as I was researching all of those things, there would be warnings about not to use around pregnant women and children and hormones being in it and all this stuff. I was like, listen, man, I don't want to try to grow back my hair and end up with like boobs or something, messing with hormones just to get my hair back. And that's kind of how I stumbled into just like one day I decided buzzing my hair down. I was like, this is practically bald. Put the razor to my head. I went through all the cut myself yourself once or twice, and those are scary as you learn, but it's the same as learning and growing your technique on shaving your neck and beard. You're gonna have little nicks and stuff, and after a while you get the muscle memory to shave your head. I don't pretend that I have professional barber level skills. I'll go there and make them do the lineup, and I'll do a maintenance, you know, and I'm going to the barber maybe every couple months. I go to the barber, but now it's not a necessity. I have in my own hands enough skill to feel confident about going out with my head shaved and lining up my beard myself. Now, granted, if I'm going to work and I don't have the time to shave my head, I do throw on like a skull cap, but I work in a freezing ER. There are things to get used to with the bald head, of course. You're going to feel cooler, or sometimes you're gonna sweat more in those areas. That's just naturally how it works when you shave. Of course, you're gonna have to get used to the muscle memory of shaving your head and how often it's going to be. Some people have darker, thicker hair, and initially your scalp is going to be lighter from being hidden under your hair. So you're going to have your bald spots or your thinning areas are gonna be like highlighted in comparison to places that your hair still grows thick. But after a couple shaves or a couple days out in the sun, everything kind of evens out. And again, this isn't a permanent thing. If you cut your hair and you're like, yeah, I don't like this baldy, you take a couple pictures to have a couple memories to laugh at, and your hair will grow back. It felt like this weird permanent jump when I did shave my head finally, as if I needed to say it out loud. Shaving my head is not going to permanently lose any hair that I haven't already permanently lost. And I just needed someone to tell me that. So I'm gonna tell you that now. It is not something that you permanently join. You know, you're not tattooing or laser removing your hair. It's just a shave. It'll grow back just like it does in your beard. It'll take a couple weeks and that hair experiment is over. You know, do it. Because trust me, the landing patch thing, when you have that Dracula peak, you don't look better than with a bald head. You can say, oh, I have a weird shaped head, I have wrinkles in the back of my head, my scalp is super white in comparison to the rest of my skin. It does not look better. If you go onto Reddit and go onto some of these bald groups and see some of the things, they try to be supportive there to each other. And all of those insecure thoughts that you have where you have to be hiding it with a hoodie and a hat and this and that, it is so much more freeing to just cut your hair than to, you know, be worrying about all of those things. If you do choose to go the hair restoration route and try those things out, like I said, I considered those things. I even went and bought one and tried it, and it just seemed like it was too much things to try to remember to put onto my head. I was just like, who am I fooling? It's just time to cut it off. Like I always said when I was younger, looking at guys older holding on to their hair, and I'm like, dude, just cut your head into a baldy. You'll look better than this attempt to hang on to your youth with your hair. And now starting to get a couple little grays as a millennial, as an 80s baby, it is actually to my benefit to be able to cut this thing off, because I'm not doing the hair dye thing. Again, no judgment to anybody that chooses to do it, but I just leave the grays where they grow. But the extra grays that I'm getting here from probably working in the ER and working nights and all of that, I just shave them off. In Jamaica, we have this whole thing about don't cut your gray hair. For every time you pluck or cut your gray hair, to grow back. That's a whole superstition and thing. But for me, it doesn't matter. I just cut it off. So these little spots in here, some little sprinkles, there's no benefit to me to not shaving it right now versus all the things you have to worry about trying to hold on to it. But like I said, it's something temporary. Try it out. If you don't like it, shaving is not a permanent thing. It doesn't permanently remove any hair that you have there. If anything, it frees you up to really see where your thin spots are. So I think I've done enough about my hair journey. Let's get into shaving. So get out my tea trimmer. This is one that I reviewed a couple of videos back. And I do this. This is what I usually do. So don't feel like, oh, you're not on that level yet. So as we continue this shave, you're looking crazy like this way or that way, maybe no one is saying, geez, that guy's head looks crazy. You happen to be watching a southpaw. I am left-handed. I shave in pretty much any direction I want, up, down, you know, side to side. Not sponsored unless they would like to. Spin. Finish up here. I thought, you know, my hair journey was a bigger thing to share with you guys, but just to let you know that the story continues. You know, I didn't start shaving my head and, like I said, happily ever after. From time to time, I do ask myself, would I consider, you know, some kind of regrowth? Would have to align with something I felt comfortable with. The story just doesn't end there, but it is freeing. Trust me, it is very freeing. And if you are going to join the bald game, you are going to, you know, end up doing the cut. I hope that what I shared with you today will encourage you to do whatever you're most comfortable with and help you find your decision, because it's words that I wish I had heard from somebody, especially somebody that kind of looked like me, to be able to say, you know what, it's okay to cut your hair bald. Now, Tupac did it, DMX pulled it off, my wife's favorite, Malik Yoba. There's mad people that rock the bald look. And it's not even just a solution to hair loss, but it's actually part of their signature look. See you guys in another video. Any questions at all, any way that I can help, be supportive to anybody who is wrestling with this idea of whether or not to make the big chop or not. Please comment below, let me know if there is anything, or, you know, if you just want links to some of those Reddits that I'm in. Reddit can be a little much at times, but if you need that kind of support, it is there. Otherwise, till the next time we're cutting up, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one. Why are you still watching me? Log off.